stuff. This is a study that was done in 1999 and published in the year 2000. Finney Dane at the University of Alabama, we talked about this years ago. And even though during this study that was done with Asia, Europe, and North America, it was on the castanea, which is the chestnuts, they found out that that even though the Ozark Chinquapin they thought represented a small area, they didn't realize it was not just confined to the Ozarks. It occupied a large area. But the mean genetic diversity of surviving Ozark Chinquapin population was found to be greater than the relic American chestnut, even though its range at present time is limited to the Ozarks. So we know that's not true now. They thought it's just the Ozarks only. So what that means is the DNA study showed conclusively that the Ozark Chinquapin was an older species. The more diversity in the genetics and the DNA, the longer that species has been around, which turned upside down everything we thought before. So that was a big finding. And that story out on one of the plots, getting some leaves for analysis. Don't want to put you into a coma, but basically, Joey Shaw, if he were here, he could tell you a little bit more about this though. But a lot of work's gone into this. I'm going to give you a brief summary. If you can imagine this like a backbone of genetics, castanea, which is the chestnut, and Joey Shaw did very in-depth DNA studies, and he found out the American chestnut, which is D for dentata, and is more closely related to the Allegheny Chinquapin. And then in the middle, he found a group that was like hybridized between the Allegheny, the American chestnut, and either Chinese or other European chestnuts. And then all the way over here, separate by itself, the most uniquely different and with the most genetic diversity was the Ozark Chinquapin. And so he just completed a really big study, and we got a grant from the Arkansas Heritage Foundation for $4,600. And so Joey has done some pretty incredible stuff, and he's even done even more studies that further reinforces this. So a lot of new information we did not know before. So there's a strong likelihood that the Ozark Chinquapin could be the oldest species in North America. Right now we can pretty well conclude that safely. And by the way, the test he's doing right now is the fourth lab analysis we've had done. They all say the same thing. Lots of neat work, accomplishments done. We established Ozark Chinquapin Foundation. We have a website. And this is old information here. I think I gave him an old one. We're way over 60,000 people now. I have personally answered over 5,000, now it's up to over 6,800 emails myself. Found new surviving trees. I think we're up to 34 large ones now. Genetic diversity saved from native range. This is an old number. We're probably up somewhere around, I'd say 3,000 to 4,000 seeds given out. We have about 1,000 members right now of the Ozark Chinquapin Foundation. Plus, they've given interpretive programs since 2001. A lot of important contacts and partnerships have been built so far. We're still doing that. Established a database of trees, and Tori actually put that in. Where's Tori at? She's outside. She's working. Okay. Tori, you can see her outside. She actually took that raw information I had and put it into databases. And Asmith back over here has agreed to go ahead and add new information and get that updated for us. We've been pretty busy with programs, but it's going to happen. And news media attention, magazine articles have come out on this and continue to do it. We've had newspapers and magazines in Missouri, Arkansas cover it. And the next step is probably national as well. Established test plots. We have one at Hobbs State Park right now. We have two main ones in Missouri. We have one at Indian Trails in Dent County, and the real large 80-acre research farm where I first met Harold at. I mean, literally right by us. And then down in the Washita's, Russ Oaks got one started down there. And where's Les at? Les, I think we lost all those trees because of the soil, didn't we say? And we're just giving you some more seed this April. And a little bit later on, maybe you can share, if you want to tell an updates, what's going on with that. I don't have it written in, but if you can speak a little bit and tell, that'd be good. And Tori's not here right now. She's outside working. But Tori actually planted some trees, established 2 different plots down in the near Cossatot State Park and the, I guess that would be the Washtenaws. I think that's right. And so successfully cross-pollinated first time in 2010. And new F1 strains of 100% pure Ozark Chinquapins. We don't intercross these. We actually have a lab to check to find out that they're pure Ozark Chinquapin. It's very important to our mission statement. 80-acre research farm in Hunter, Missouri, established outside of there. And this research farm is the first ever place dedicated just to bring back these trees. And right now, we have somewhere in the neighborhood of probably 350, give or take a few trees growing there right now. Best genetics on planet Earth. First seed from the research plots are going to be given out to anything extra left over goes out to our members. And Andy Elder, where are you at? Okay, Andy. Andy's going to present today for us. And how long have you been a member?
2011.
Since 2011, okay. And Andy's one of these people that have been giving out seed to. And because Andy's a member, he gets seed from our research test plots. And that's a little perk about being a member. He's going to report a little bit on some interesting things here for us. And did you send me pictures to do something with, or do you?
No, we have them on our.
Okay, good. Okay. I'll say, because I looked, I didn't see it on the email. First seed harvested from our crosses was in 2014. And I cannot tell you the elation in the field inside coming down that mountain. It's not a hill. Harold will tell you that's a mountain. And seeing and collecting those seed, it's just an incredible feeling to know all that word manifested, and then we've got those seed in our hand. Steve Churchill can tell you how that is. It's just incredible what we've done. So we found out some pretty interesting things. 2012, for those of you like me that work in state parks or in forestry, the outdoors, we were all on red alert in 2012 because we had moisture levels and drought conditions that were drier than it was out in the Rocky Mountains at the same time. And so how the trees hold up during all this? If you were a tree and you could run, you would run. Out in the woods, you can see on the hillsides, driving down the roads, dead trees everywhere in the aftermath of 2012. It was incredible. The most heat, least amount of moisture we'd had in 5 decades. And we were fearful of forest fires. And there were some pretty bad ones around here that year too. And so how the trees do? Well, this is our first cross we made from 2 real large trees we were trying to make, and it was the only seed that we had gotten from that cross. And so I babied that thing. You can look around behind you, you can see young trees literally burned up all around us, different other trees, red buds, Bost, and leaves in this one were still green. Here's the thermometer, and in the woods it's 101 degrees. On this thermometer, on the shaded side of that grow tube, it bottomed out at 121 degrees on that plot. There's exposed rock. You can feel the heat radiating. So this tree made it up, and it survived that. And this was our very first cross. So I was going to take care of it. And I actually watered that thing that year. And that was in the month of, I think, the very end of July. And these are some trees that are real small and azimuth. The same place, what can you tell us about how that looks today?
Oh, is that the one we got the seed from last year? Oh, well, we haven't been out there to do too much cutting, so it's all covered with really low growing oak saplings, and all of the Chinquapin in the tubes are out of the tubes. I don't think the tubes are on any of them anymore. And the one we got most of our seed from is what, a 6-year-old tree, and it's something like 15 feet tall now. And all the other trees are just as tall.
And I've, of course, been out there several times this year, too, trying to plant and do all kinds of things. And so with all this rain we've had, the trees, it's just incredible growth. I just I can't get over it
Oh,
though.
so
You
they
can
get
actually go to the Ozark Chinquapin website, and we've got a Facebook account now, and you can go to that Facebook account, and there's YouTube videos that Aspen put on there, and we've got a field trip that Aspen edited, we put on there, so you can actually do like a visual tour of these plots online from last year. You can actually see that.
Cave Springs.
Right by Cave Springs, yes. One of the prettiest places on planet Earth is right there by it. It's a little hidden jewel. I take people up to see that and they go, oh my gosh. Right downhill of this, there's a gigantic cave with a spring that comes gushing out of there. And I still drink the water today out of it. It's just a really incredible place, that whole area. And then we got these trees going there too. That's Shane way up in this tree. We say we're out on a limb. We're not kidding. He's up there, pollinating, and Sean's the same way too. All of us are getting a little bit older now and putting on a few pounds, I've noticed. So it's a good thing we're using lift buckets now. We've generated that. This is high virulence. This is basically a fungus that attacks the chestnut blight, and we've been inoculating trees with it. And like I said, this is what I got USDA approval for, and it works. It takes it about 6 to 8 or 10 years to actually begin to change and spread in the forest, but it does work. So that tree, if you catch it in time, will actually heal over that wound, and the tree won't die of the blight. And so we've been doing a little bit of work already on it. We're going to revisit that, hit it a little bit harder. We were talking last night, we had a big shipment of this hypovirulence and another one, and it got lost in the mail, and so we never did see it. This view is kind of unique, and you want to stand up, Shane, and tell us what we're looking at right here?
That's actually from the top of the bucket when we were pollinating at that time, the largest known Chinquapin that was still living. But he was able to get permission from the landowner. He was on board with what the foundation's doing, and he let us cut a road in there to be able to get the bucket truck in there. And that's a picture I took from the top of the bucket. Full spooky to eye.
And I don't see Steve Mallory. Is he here right now?
No, he left.
Oh, he left, okay.
But and I'm sure Colton will kind of attest to this a little bit later, but when you're up there and it's flowering like that, there's a low hum from all of the insects and bees and everything that's all around from all the flowers that's there. You get the smell like you were talking. You can't really compare it to anything because it's its own distinct smell. You'll never forget.
I need to start bringing back the pollen at these meetings, let everybody smell it. It's just, we tell you about it, but it's just, words can't describe what it's like. It's like, pick your favorite smell in the world and times two. It's just, it's really awesome. But anyhow, this, Steve Mallory's not here right now, but we got grant money from the Missouri Conservation Heritage Foundation that made it possible to have the money to pay to get these in here. But don't get me wrong, Shane, Colton, here right now, all kinds of people put a lot of work in to make this happen. So we went from small scale to big scale cross-pollinating. There's a lot of intensive work now. We're benefiting from that. We're still cross-pollinating, but we're mainly dependent on the trees to do it on their own now. We've got the genetics in place. I hate to mail anything. I'm the world's worst. So if you get a package from me, it was a lot of effort and probably time. I just hate mailing stuff. I hate doing it. But I've mailed out stuff. Every single membership we've ever sent out, I've handwritten a little note thanking all the people for that, doing that. And Tim Smith, raise up your hand again. Tim is glutton for punishment. I've kind of built this up as a real glamorous thing to do. So he's taking over the membership mailing. But that is great because it freed me up enough to concentrate on some other things that need to be done. And so everybody that steps up and I lean on a little bit heavier than the board, and they take up some more stuff that we're doing, it frees me up. And Tori's done a lot of that stuff. Everybody in this room has done a lot of stuff. And if you see somebody with a name badge on, like raise your hand up, Steve Churchill, raise it up, and they have a little leaf on there, like the name badge that Harold has, that means they got an award at one time for doing something above and beyond normal to save and restore this tree, though. So we've all stepped up and made all this. And there's just part of one day's packaging I sent out. And this is a plaque of Ozark Chinquapin wood, which is extremely hard to get, and it's a little bit easier now. And Eddie Estes back there, raise up your hand, Eddie. He's our official woodworker, I guess, for the foundation, and is also had a tree on his property, and he also received an award. It's kind of ironic, you cut the wood for it, you didn't know you were getting it. But when you have somebody do something good, you want to tell people about it, you want to share it. And we actually bought a booth at a great big trade show we had at Copper Bluff. And that's our secretary right here. She couldn't be here because of her son has got some issues going on. She needs to be there for. And this is Zephyr. He couldn't be here because he is so banged up right now. He cannot drive. He said he'll have back surgery. And so this is a table we set up about the Ozark Chinquapin. And it was incredible the interest that we had and the number of people that left from there, just kind of like what some of y'all said. They were inspired to learn more and do more. That's what it's all about. Those are Ozark Chinquapin nuts right there. And so the thing about it is our not just our Ozark force, but our force that we have today are different than what our grandparents had or great-grandparents had. And we've lost a lot. But if we all work together on recovery and pull together, we can make a big difference for our wildlife and our children in the area. And that's me. And I keep using Tori's name. She's not here. But me and Tori both got invited to go out and do a bear den survey because the Missouri Department of Conservation knew how critical this tree once was to wildlife populations and how it's a consistent food source that happens every year in a lot of nuts. And so I went into a bear's den, got that cub out. There's snow on the ground right there. And so if this tree does make a comeback, the population, not just bears, but squirrels, deer, everything, elk will be greater. And so we can make that kind of a difference. That's my son when he was, I guess, 4 years old. And he still goes with me now on the plots now. He's 14 now, and he still works with me. He knows more about Ozark Chinquapins than any little 14-year-old kid, I think, in the country. And so that does conclude our program. And we're going to take a break now. And before we do, if anybody has any questions real quickly, I'll try to answer that for you.
Steve,
Get you a lot of stuff. Yes, sir.
quick question. On the adult trees, from what you've seen, how thick is the bark on them?
On the adult trees?
On the adult trees?
You know, it doesn't stand out any different from other trees. The real large ones, I'm going to say it's going to be about like that. It has real long furrows on it. And I've got some better pictures I can show you later or email them if you want. But it's, compared to oak, I'd say similar to it, something like that. Yeah. That answers the question. That's a good question. I've never been asked that before. It's pretty good. Any other questions before we break? Okay, let's take a break then.